quick history on the Scottish Highland Games. Let's learn about the games, historical reasons, the banning of the game, and modern times. Okay, let's start with why the games were originally created and what were gained from them. King Malcolm III needed to find a royal messenger, so he gathered all the clans and picked the fastest runner from the land. He's accredited for starting the Highland Games. The games of old. King Malcolm III created the games in hopes to find his messenger. The clans loved the idea so much that it continued to grow and started incorporating Highland dance, Scottish wrestling, Scottish music, heavy events, and maintain the Glen-to-Glen race. Now let's take a look at when England banned the games in order to control the Highland clans. 1746 Battle of Culloden. The games carried on all over Scotland until 1746 when the English defeated the Scottish in the Battle of Culloden. After the battle, the English banned the games, bagpipes, kilts, weapons, and any gathering of clans. All this history fuels the modern Highland Games to be what we see today. The modern Highland Games. At the end of the 18th century, the English laws were repealed and the Highland societies began forming again. 1781 marks the first society gathering after the ban was lifted and was held at Falkirk, and the games were back. The modern Highland Games are contested around the world in many different countries. The games consist of Highland dance, music, and my favorite, the heavy events. The heavy events, there are 9 events that make up the games. Only 7 need be contested for legitimate games. The 9 events are the stone put. The braemar and open stone are thrown similar to the traditional shot put. The braemar stone is thrown without an approach and weighs about 22 pounds. The open stone is thrown like the shot put, and you're allowed movement inside the trig and weighs around 16 pounds. Weights for distance. The weights for distance are similar to the discus in movement. The heavyweight weighs 56 pounds for the amateurs and 42 for the masters. The lightweight weighs 28 pounds for both classes. Weight over bar. The weight over bar event is pretty simple. Toss the weight over the bar without knocking it off. The implement weighs 56 pounds for the amateur class and 42 for the masters. There are 2 typical styles, the standing throw and the spin, but only the standing throw is allowed in Scotland. Scottish hammer. The Scottish hammer weighs 16 pounds for the light hammer and 22 for the heavy hammer. Each hammer has a 50-inch long handle affixed to the metal ball. Legend has it that the hammers used in the past were the hammers from the local blacksmith. Sheaf toss. The sheaf toss is not a traditional event contested in Scotland, but in America we contest it across the nation. The bag weighs 16 pounds for masters and 20 for the amateurs. The athlete that goes over the highest bar without knocking it off wins the event. The caber toss. The caber toss is our only accuracy event. Most people think we throw the tree for distance, but in reality it's all about how straight you throw it. These 3 diagrams will help show how we score the caber. At 12 o'clock is a perfect throw. Anything outside of that is scored on the clock phase, but if you don't get it over, there's a side judge that will award you an angle score. The beer garden. The beer garden is probably my favorite part of all of this. Not really for the beer, but for all the time I get to spend with my Highland family and friends. That concludes my history lesson of Scottish Highland Games. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Created using Powtoon.